weekend. And this is the show about focusing on the positive, on the bright side, on all the things that are working, rather than the stuff that is not working in this challenge in the middle of the corona crisis that we're facing worldwide. And with me again, I have two amazing experts. I have Angelika Khon and David Perry, and we're waiting for one more guest speaker. A little bit of tech issues. Would you please introduce yourself, Angelika, and tell us where you're from and what is it that you do, please?
Sure. Thank you, Natalie, for having me here on live. I'm Angelika, and I'm a life coach and entrepreneur. I'm based in Lugano. Originally by blood, I'm Korean, but I was born in Russia, and this is my mother tongue language, also Russian. But I'm Swiss. By citizenship as well.
Oh,
My
wow. Let me
yeah,
rephrase that. So you're
yeah.
Korean, living in Switzerland, you're Swiss, but you also speak Russian because you were born in Russia.
Yeah, my family's in Moscow, so I'm more Russian than more Korean, I guess. And while my true passion in life coaching lays to help women to have more resourceful and happy life. So
More
this is
resourceful and happier. Is that
yes,
anything specific or in general just what they want to accomplish?
what they want to accomplish, but I'm mainly using the soft time management as a tool in order for women to help balance their inner resources and the external factors.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds really interesting. I hope to learn a little more about it when we go on in the show.
sure. Oh, hi.
Okay, here I am.
Welcome, Sunday.
Work.
Hold on. I'm going to mute your audio, Sunday, because you're giving a little bit of feedback. All right. All right. Thank you very much. And Angelika, what are you going to share with us today?
Well,
Just
I was
quick
yes, I was
title.
think yes, I was thinking that to focus more today on the family team building.
Team building. Okay.
Yes, on the family team building because we are all right now in a situation where moms and kids and husbands are all together and children do homeschooling and you have to work from home. So I think it's really important that this period is used in order to actually bond and connect with each other rather than cannot wait until you would just start living your normal lives, right, and be like, oh, I'm tired to be next to you. This is not really how
Yes.
I believe it should be. Yeah.
Very, I love that expression, family team building.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yes, exactly. Family is a team. So, guys, if you want to ask any questions, just put
Sure.
it in the comments. And I think all the hosts the guests can see the comments, and then we can just interact with you guys this way. All
Sure.
right. And also on the call, we have David Perry. Welcome, David. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself also?
Sure thing, Natalie. Thanks for having me on this live show. My name's David Perry. I'm originally from the United States, and I worked in software development in Silicon Valley for many years, and I live now in Zurich, Switzerland for the last 10 years. I left technology and trained as an ontological life coach starting about 4 years ago. And the way I like to explain that is people come to me with different kinds of challenges, different kinds of areas of their life. And the way I look at that is a challenge is a place where that person sees something that's not possible for them. And my objective is to help them to move out of impossible into possible. So I help them to clear a space for new possibility and new ways of being.
Okay.
And I've people come to me from all walks of life with all kinds of different situations where they're stuck or blocked or have some big challenge in life or a life transition. And the ontological coaching is about looking at the person's context, so their whole worldview, where they come from, their culture, and it reveals itself in the language they use.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to sort of point to that context and where it's limiting them, and then open up space for new possibilities.
Okay. Wow. And the name is anthropological coaching?
It's ontological coaching.
Ontological. Okay.
That's
Sorry
right.
about that. So how do you spell that? Let me put that in the chat.
It's ONTO, logical.
Is that a word that you created? Sorry for being so.
No, that's a philosophy of ontology that's about being and being in the world. And Martin Heidegger, a German philosopher, was a big guy around that. So in a nutshell, one of the sort of simple explanations of ontology is the difference between knowing how to play tennis and being a tennis player.
Ah, I see. By experiencing it and by practicing it. Okay, wow, nice. That's a lot like what we do in our seminars. Experience everything rather than talking about sales. We just push you out there, go and sell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. And what are you going to share with us today, David? Anything?
Well, something I've been thinking a lot about in this situation is the emotional challenges that people have around this whole change to their world. And it reminds me of the Stephen Covey expression of that, which is these emotional maps that we create. It's our versions of the world. And the way this map has changed, and we have to adjust to this change of our world and create new maps. And so the sort of call to action, I would say, at this moment is to take the pieces of the old map that were working and get creative about what is the new version of your world you want to create, because this is an opportunity where we can be very creative about how we move forward out of this situation and put intention in place and take a stand for what you want to create out of this. So you can take the pieces of the old stuff that were working, which we now get to look at and say, really with a really good understanding, since we're sort of separated from it with time, what was working before and what's working now and what we want to create out of that. So it's a choice. So we all get to choose how we want to be in the world, and this is a time where we really get to choose powerfully what we want to create moving forward.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, wow, we have some interesting topics today. So family, team building, and then create a new version of your world with David Perry. And let me take a minute to welcome our guests. Welcome, Christelle. Good to see you again. Marlis, Harry, Mindy, and Tiffany. Good to see you. All right, just ask any questions as we proceed. And last but not least, we have Sunday Marbach. Can you also tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do?
Okay, thank you, Natalie, for having me here. You can all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, it's good. My name is Sunday. I was born on a Sunday. I'm from East Africa. I'm half Ugandan, half Kenyan. I've lived in Kenya, I've lived in Germany. Now I'm here in Switzerland with my family. At the moment, I work at the social department of City of Zurich, and I'm also a life coach. I help women to have an empowered mindset during challenging times, and also to have a deep understanding of their life purpose.
Okay.
And what I want to talk about today is about two words: observation and evaluation. Because for what is happening at the moment, it's time also for self-discovery, like who am I? How am I reacting regarding the issue? Not just the pandemic, but also how do I react if I have problems with families or problems with friends or at work issues, whatever. And the pandemic is showing that it seems like most of us, we are extension of our families, the way we handle crisis, or even we are a product of our society. And this is now the best time to sit down and evaluate who am I and how do I handle life.
Very interesting. All right. Self-discovery, how to evaluate your own life. And then take the next steps. Because if you don't like what you see, then change it. You're not a tree, as Jim Rohn used to say. Very, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, Sunday from Kenya, Uganda. Now you live in Switzerland, right?
Yes.
Good. Very international call today. All right. Would you like to begin, Angelika, sharing your
Sure.
family team development?
Sure. Well, I wanted to make this quick parallel between the company, right, and the family. For example, if the boss comes to an employee and saying that, "Oh, give a call to the client," right? It's a completely different energy if a boss asking an employee and saying that, "Look, you have such good communication skills. How about you call the clients to ask how they're all doing during this current situation," for instance, right? So in the family, it's basically also the same thing. Let's take a mother as a coach, right, of a family. And it's one thing when a mom says like, "Oh my God, I'm just so tired of you, all of you. Like I have to clean after each of you, right? Do your homework, etc., etc." Instead of just bossing around everyone what each family members needs to do, she can apply this also like more motivational approach by acknowledging the strength and the talents of each family member. For instance, right, if you gather all the family together and you say, "Look guys, how can we take care of each other really at this, a challenging period?" And you can say, for instance, if your son is in love with the sports, you could tell that, "Okay, John, you will be responsible to wake us all up in the morning and do the 15-minute training to all of us, with the music, fun, etc."
Right.
If the little one she's more into creativity, she loves cooking, right? You can give that responsibility and that task partially to this family member, right, by helping you out. So this way, a mother also will be able to delegate and to have more resources for herself, right? So this way, for the whole family, it's more fun, it's more enjoyable. You acknowledge and recognize each of them, with what they're good at, and not just by telling them what they should do, because nobody really like that,
Yeah.
right? So that could be one of the ways to start respecting each other and to take a proper care of each other. And I
Right.
think it's super essential to do it right now.
100%. That's very cool. Yes.
Mm.
Being a coach rather than a dictator.
Yes, exactly.
Saying you have to do this. Marlis says strength of the family team. Love that. Yeah, 100%. If you have any questions, this is a really cool little analogy. So if the mother is the coach, what's the father then?
Well, I mean, a father can decide who he wants to be, right, based on his strength.
Right.
I mean, it's like they can delegate it the way they like it. Maybe the father is the fun one, who can always add some humor, who can add some, I don't know, entertainment, games, etc., etc. So it's like really everybody is responsible for the thing that they love. And this way, people like in the family receive more, let's say, joyful sensation rather than moral obligation, right?
Right. I love that. Joyful
Yeah.
sensation rather than obligation.
Moral obligation, yes.
Nice. Thank you very much for sharing this.
Sure.
Very, very helpful thing right now. So think of yourself as a coach rather than someone who just shoulds and tells and you must do all this stuff because nobody wants that. And then pick a role that fits your personality.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thank you. Any
Thank
questions to
Angelika.
Angelika? Sorry. Please just
Sure.
put in the comments. And let's move to David. David, what about your ontology strategy?
Okay. Well, I was thinking about, Stephen Covey talks about how we all have these emotional, mental maps of the world. And he says the map is not the territory. So the way we see the world is not actually how the world exists.
Right.
Right. So I guess as coaches, we all get that concept. And so when the outside world changes suddenly, then we're really left in a uncertain place where we don't really know where we are, and that's sort of what's happened here. Things have changed so quickly. Our mental maps haven't had time to catch up yet, where they're just starting to. We're getting to the point where we're starting to catch up. So if you think about going to Paris with a map of Zurich, you're going to get lost pretty quickly.
Yes.
And if you've ever been lost in a city, depending on who you are, the first thing that can happen is you panic, especially if it's not such a nice neighborhood. So you have some panic, you have some anxiety, you don't know where you are, and that's that first chaotic part of your journey. And then after a while, you start to, so that's when you realize that the map isn't working. And then after a while, you start to accept your situation and you start to problem solve around it. Start to ask people, or you go buy a new map, or you start to look for landmarks that are familiar. You realize you have the wrong map. So this is sort of the acceptance part. I think a lot of us right now are been moving into this acceptance part.
So that's
very important.
Step one.
So step one is panic and chaos.
Oh, okay. Let's not say that.
When you have to recognize that, like when you're in fear and anxiety and panic, it's like that's just these are normal human reactions, right? Just accept those things and not try to fight them. And then as we move into acceptance and trying to find solutions and trying to problem solve, then we can start to pick up the pieces. You know, I'm living in Zurich right now, and we're going to start moving out of our isolation in about a week. And so I have a lot of questions about how that's going to work. But part of what I'm thinking about is, what do I want to create from this situation? Like, so we've had the map change, things are new. Now we get into acceptance around that. Well, what is your intention for afterwards? So, you know, people have different ways of looking at the situation. I know people who are working at home right now who really miss their colleagues. They want to get back to work. They want to get back to the office.
Yes.
Other people love working from home. They don't want to stop working from home. So it's a great time to really set an intention and say, you know, I really like working from home. So when my bosses ask me to go back to the office, let me see what I can create there. Maybe I can have a conversation with them where I can create a new way where I'm working at home 2, 3, 4 days a week or something like that, if that's really working for me. So for all of us, I mean, I've been working at home for years, so it's not a new thing for me, but I've created some new structures around how my wife and I work at home, and I want to keep doing those. So there's certain things that you can take. So there was the old way, which some of us like the way it was. We can pick up the pieces of the old map that we like and carry those forward. And then we can pick up the pieces of what's been working for us now during isolation. We can carry those forward, then we can create new things.
Right.
And
like
really
kind of like
just
the puzzle, make a new picture.
Sure. Yeah, it's a way of looking at it, but it's really about how do I, and this is always the choice, always in life, is what do I want my life to look like, and making that choice powerfully to create that future. And in normal times, that takes a lot of introspection and breakdowns and effort. And now that we're in this time, we've already had the breakdown, and now we get to pick up the pieces and we get to create from that what we would really like to have in our lives.
Yeah, 100%. No, we're going through this process that would take maybe 10 years.
Exactly.
Adjust and change, because human beings, we don't like change, typically.
No, we don't.
We're going through a rapid process now, so this is a big time for opportunity to create our new reality.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
That's really amazing. Just mind-boggling when you think about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's answer a couple questions. We have or comments. We have Mindy says, isn't it great now that we have choices? Yeah, 100%. And even our maps are subjection. Yes. Christelle loves working from home. Yes, likewise here. I've been working from home for a long time now already. And I saw a question here somewhere too. Marlis asked, can you guys see the comments at all?
No.
Yes, I can see.
Oh, okay. So she's asking, that's probably for Angelika. Do you have a suggestion for couples? How can I bring that up in a couple situation? So the team, the family team building.
Sure. I mean, it also depends on, what you are looking for. What would you like to achieve as a couple while being together? So it's important.
Okay.
If there's any.
Well, can you elaborate, please? Otherwise, it's going to be like a huge subject. What would you like to achieve with the couple? All right. Like this concept of a map, can't imagine it better. Oh, okay. That's comment for the other thing. All right. So if you think of anything that you want to achieve specifically, Marlis, put it in the comments. Otherwise, we're going to strengthen the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll give Angelika a minute to think about one. And you have something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important also to ask your partner what strength means for him as well, right? Because you might have different comprehension, different understanding of the strength. Because for you, strength maybe is to be always next to each other, having the deep conversations, soulful conversations. And for him, the strength in relationship, maybe he's providing for your couple, by giving the shelter, food, etc. So I think it's important to communicate first and have a nice chat, like, oh, what strength means to you, right? That's what we do in coaching as well. It's like we're asking these potent questions. So it's really important to hear his side and then see and find the middle ground of how you guys can build this strong relationship based on your values and your perceptions and his values and his perceptions.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's very helpful. Yes, 100%. Because two people can think totally different things about what strengthens their relationship and partnership. All right. Is that more structure at home? Smallest says, yes, that's also an important thing, especially nowadays where actually you could be in your pajamas all day long if you want to. All right, let's move to Sunday and let me hear what you brought to the show today.
Yeah, so for me, it's really important. Like I said, if there's like crisis going on, first really to be calm and to observe what's happening around. I just want to use like the toilet paper analogy. I heard that there was a video going on viral where I think two women, they were fighting over the big pack of the toilet paper. And the people saw this video, and this is how the whole toilet paper thing started. It's like, oh my God, we have to go to shop toilet paper. But later I heard that that video has nothing to do with this pandemic. It's an old video from a supermarket. and this shows again, like I said, whatever is happening around us, have we taken time to observe? And are we agreeing? Because it's like if we don't take time to think and to evaluate, why am I actually doing what everyone else is doing? So everyone is running for toilet paper. I'm also running for toilet paper. But is this you, or you are just doing what everyone else is doing? So definitely what we have seen, that there's been like a magnet of fear going around. So we have all been caught up in a situation, but in our daily lives, we would probably behave differently. So like when I was saying the self-evaluation, self-discovery is how do I react with problems? How do I react when changes are coming? Am I really doing what everyone else is doing, or do I have my own way? So I personally, I can be sometimes very analytical. When there's big problem, what I like to do is to take a paper and write the entire problem. And then the second thing I like to do is to see what is the positive, what are the positive things can come out, and what are the negatives can come out. And then I have to bring it together and to see with which negative consequences can you live with, and with which ones you can't live without. So, and then I have to make that a change. Because what I've noticed, if everything just remains in the head, then it becomes very difficult. I have to see it. So I like to put it on the paper and to work with it there.
Make it visual. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So step number 3, actually, is first you write down the problem. You write down everything.
Yeah, exactly what's going on. Yeah.
And then positive, negative outcomes, scenario planning a little bit.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the third thing, what is it that you do? Then you choose.
I mean, some of the negative outcome probably I can't do anything without, but then I have to see with which one can you live with. We don't know how long it can take, and which one definitely not. And then I have to work on that one.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so if you paint a negative scenario where you say, oh, if I don't pay attention to this, it's going to go that way. So that's what I totally don't want. So I have to work on that.
Exactly.
You don't have overwhelm when you're trying to work on 15 different things. Okay. So
No.
pick first,
Yeah.
work outcome, and work on fixing it.
Yeah.
Is that what you
And
said?
most important is really to see it on paper and not to, I think the biggest takeout here is don't leave everything in the mind, because that's where the overwhelming is coming down. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 I agree. Molly says,
Mm.
put it on paper, get it out of the head. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Mindy Stam says, no pajamas, dress for success. Yeah, that's true. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, good. Anything that you guys want to add to any of these strategies? Angelika or David or Sunday?
Would like to add to each other's strategies or
Yeah,
to our
whatever we discussed here right now.
Well, yes, I definitely agree also with Sunday that we need to take out things on the paper because it will also help us to really free our operational memory, right? And right now actually is the perfect time to declutter your mind, declutter your house, right? Declutter everything that you don't need, that you don't enjoy anymore, that makes you feel burned out, right? That you've been always distracted. Because there's so many external factors, right, that been catching up your attention. So now it's a real time where you create that inner space. So we are constrained physically with the freedom, but I think this opportunity helps us to regain the inner freedom, right? And one of the tasks would be is to write it all down, your ideas, the things that you've been postponing, right? Things that you fear. So it's all out of the paper, on the paper, and you feel much more free also inside.
Yes, I agree. Thank you very much. And decluttering can also go as far as decluttering your physical environment.
Yes,
That,
absolutely. Yes,
that's something that
that's a must.
I like to postpone all the time. I'll do it later. I'll just put it all in the drawer here. But now we have the time. We can do that. It's totally freeing.
Yeah.
Stuff away you don't need.
I think that the irony of what you're saying is that actually it turns out a lot of people are filling up their lives with more things in quarantine. What you hear from a lot of people is they've never been so busy because everybody wants to be on a Zoom meeting and there's all these free courses and all that. And I'm totally a victim of this. Well, my own desire to want to do more, right? And so I really got clear on it last week. Like, I have to start decluttering my calendar. I'm taking on too many of these webinars and things, and I've taken on a new coaching program, so I can't, do a lot of extra stuff anyway. So I'm just starting to say no to things and unsubscribe from lists and all kinds of things. So
yeah, focus on what's important to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not 135 priority. Yes. Thank you very much for sharing this.
Yes, for me, I really it has been really amazing session, and especially what Angelika said. I don't have kids, but I've never thought about this really when the family comes together, like working as a team, and especially celebrating each other's strength. Because normally in the family, it's like a lot of nagging, complaining, shouting, and all of that. And that's nice. Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah, coaching.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah.
although coaching family members, I'm not so sure it's going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the other
Yes.
thing about that I like, Angelika, is that, you know, there's also there's often competition inside the family.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
And it's like if you can drop that by saying, no, you're good at this and focus on that, and your strengths are over here and focus on that, you can drop all of that
Mm.
Yeah.
competitive stuff, which really gets in the way of so much.
That's a really good piece of advice. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Especially when you have
Mm.
several kids competing with each other.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
point.
that's
All
good.
right, we have a new guest, Yassir Suisi. He says, updating your lifestyle is important after this pandemic to be more healthier in the future. Yes, take the time to think, and yeah, like David said, create what you want to create.
Absolutely.
What Sunday said, okay, just work on what really, really is not acceptable, and the rest, you know, don't get overwhelmed with it. Kyle Bollis, seeing the declutter message scrolling across the street. I'm working on it. Too much paper. Yes. Declutter your calendar. Mindy's also experiencing the same. Yeah, now we're home. We're like, oh, I can learn this. I can learn that. But again, here is the focus is important. Just like in business, 15 businesses at once, none of it is going to be successful.
Mm.
All right. Hello, Katie. We're almost coming to an end. So if there's any more questions, Harry says, I like the process being creative, free space, and focus on new things. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Christelle says, against competitions, I let them play together a video game and not against each other. The complicity they have now is huge. Okay, nice. Maybe you can share which video game you're using. None of them are very competitive. Okay, good.
Okay.
Wow, very interesting group from all over the place. We have Russia, Moscow, Korea, USA. Which part of the USA are you from originally, David?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
And I split from New Jersey, went to California as soon as I left university.
Mm. And how long have you been in Zurich?
I've been in Zurich 10 years now.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
no, sorry. Oh, yes, Kyle. It's the famous one. Yes.
The famous David Perry.
Kyle's joking because we're both Toastmasters and we connected on LinkedIn yesterday.
Oh, you know,
okay.
That's good. The world's coming together. All right.
Okay.
Cool. So let's end this with what shall we end this with today? Do you guys have a favorite quote? We can put on the screen here, and if you guys are fast enough and share a favorite quote, I'm going to put that up as well. So we'll have a whole bandwidth of favorite quotes.
Well, I could share mine. It's the one that's on the back of my business card. It's Carl Jung. He says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Nice. I think we had that one already, but it's so nice. I'm going to put it on there again. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will
direct your life.
It will what?
It will direct your life, and you will call it fate.
We'll call it fate. Yes. That has so much power in it. If you just think about it, you know, we always like, oh, we're victims of circumstances, faith, whatever. This is just happening to us rather than
exactly.
We're creating
fate. F-A-T, fate.
Fate. Yes. Anything else?
I wouldn't say it's it's not a quote, but I would say that practicing gratitude is something is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not only now.
Yes. Sunday?
I have one. It's from King Solomon. He said, whoever works on his land, he will eat the bread.
Okay, can you elaborate?
If you work on your land, then it's going to give you the harvest. So you're going to eat the bread of your land.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Nice. You're suggesting we work on our own personal land being
that is it. What your land could be, what it could be your family, your career, and if you keep working on it, you're gonna reap the harvest. So you eat the bread of the land.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if anybody else wants to contribute. All right. Not yet. So what I want to put up is Jim Rohn's quote. If you don't like where you're at, change it. You're not a tree. Think about it. Sometimes we act as if we were trees, so deeply rooted in everything, but we're not.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. All right, so this concludes our session. Harry says spinning works better with a wheel than a square, makes things simpler. Yes. So let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's use what's good and what's working. And like David said, I love that. Take that forward and then take the new pieces forward that we learn now. Create a whole new scenario.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys have been amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Natalie, thank you guys.
Thank you for your time.
Generously, and thank you for engaging. Kyle, Marlis, Katarina, Katie, Harry. Who else do we have here? Yasir, Mindy, Marlis. Wow, cool group today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
For the rest of the day. Very sunny here in Switzerland, wherever you're at. And I'll see you again tomorrow, some of you. Same time.
Okay. It's good. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.